The courtroom fell silent as Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett stood up, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. What happened next would send shockwaves through the entire legal community and leave Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson completely speechless. In a moment that nobody saw coming, the Texas Democrat who had built her reputation on fierce advocacy was about to challenge one of the most respected legal minds in America. The disagreement that followed wasn't just about law, it was about the future of justice itself. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss moments like these that are reshaping American politics. Now let's see how a single question turned into the most talked about legal confrontation of the year. The packed hearing room buzzed with anticipation. Legal experts, journalists, and political insiders had gathered to witness what they thought would be a routine oversight hearing. But Jasmine Crockett had other plans. Armed with documents that would challenge everything, she was ready to make her mark on legal history. This wasn't just about politics. This was about principle, precedent, and the very foundation of how justice works in America. And what Justice Brown Jackson said in response would change everything. To understand why this confrontation matters so much, you need to know who these two powerhouse women really are and what brought them to this explosive moment. Jasmine Crockett represents everything bold about the new generation of Democratic leadership. At just 43 years old, the Texas Congresswoman has already made waves as one of the most fearless voices in Congress. A former civil rights attorney who cut her teeth fighting for justice in Dallas courtrooms, Crockett never backs down from a fight. Her background as a defense attorney taught her how to spot weaknesses in arguments and exploit them with surgical precision. She's known for her lightning-fast wit and her ability to dismantle opponents with facts and fury. Remember when she went viral for her epic takedowns during committee hearings? That same energy was about to be directed at one of the most powerful women in America. On the other side sits Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black woman ever to serve on the highest court in the land. At 54, she represents the pinnacle of legal achievement. Harvard Law School graduate, former federal judge, and now Supreme Court Justice, her credentials are unquestionable. She's known for her methodical approach, her deep respect for legal precedent, and her careful, measured responses. But here's what makes this confrontation so explosive. Both women are trailblazers. Both are brilliant legal minds, and both believe they're fighting for justice. The problem is, they have completely different ideas about what justice looks like. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about two accomplished women disagreeing. This is about the direction of American jurisprudence, the role of activism versus restraint in the legal system, and whether progressive ideals can coexist with judicial tradition. The setting was a congressional oversight hearing focused on judicial ethics and transparency. What was supposed to be a routine examination of court procedures was about to become a battle for the soul of American law. The cameras were rolling, the legal community was watching, and neither woman knew they were about to make history. Crockett had spent weeks preparing for this moment. Her legal team had uncovered inconsistencies in recent rulings that she believed exposed fundamental flaws in how the court approached certain cases. She wasn't just looking for answers, she was looking for accountability. Justice Brown Jackson, meanwhile, had expected the usual respectful questioning that comes with oversight hearings. She was prepared to defend the court's decisions with the same scholarly approach that had earned her respect throughout her career. She had no idea she was walking into an ambush. The hearing started normally enough. Justice Brown Jackson sat at the witness table, composed and professional in her dark judicial robes. The committee members took their seats, and the chairperson called the session to order. The first few questions were predictable. Budget concerns, administrative issues, the usual congressional oversight routine. But then Jasmine Crockett's turn came. She adjusted her microphone, shuffled through her papers with deliberate precision, and looked directly at Justice Brown Jackson. The room sensed something different in her energy. This wasn't going to be another softball question about court procedures. Justice Brown Jackson, Crockett began, her voice steady but charged with purpose. I want to talk about your recent opinion in the Henderson case. The Henderson case, a complicated dispute involving voting rights and state election procedures, had been one of the court's most Controversial decisions in recent months. Justice Brown Jackson had written a careful, measured opinion that tried to balance competing interests. Most legal scholars praised it as thoughtful jurisprudence. Crockett saw it differently. Your opinion, she continued, talks about the importance of respecting state authority in election matters. You wrote that federal courts should be reluctant to interfere with state-level decisions unless there's clear constitutional violation. Justice Brown Jackson nodded slightly. This was standard legal doctrine, nothing controversial here. But then Crockett dropped her first bomb. Justice Brown Jackson, how do you square that position with your previous statements as a circuit judge, where you wrote that voting rights require aggressive federal protection and that state restrictions should be viewed with deep suspicion? The room stirred. This wasn't just a policy disagreement. This was an accusation of inconsistency from someone who clearly knew the law inside and out. Justice Brown Jackson